Imagine waking up every day with a clear sense of purpose. You know exactly what needs to be done, and more importantly, you have the discipline to follow through. No distractions, no excuses, just consistent, focused action that leads you closer to your goals. Sounds like a dream, right? But what if I told you that this level of self-discipline is not only possible, but within your reach, starting today? Building self-discipline is often seen as a tough, almost impossible task. We tell ourselves that it's just for the naturally strong-willed or the exceptionally motivated. But the truth is, self-discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed and strengthened. The ancient Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, understood this well. They practiced a set of principles that allowed them to master their thoughts, emotions, and actions, enabling them to live with clarity and purpose, no matter what challenges life threw their way. In this video, we're diving deep into the teachings of Marcus Aurelius and exploring 10 Stoic principles that can help you build unshakable self-discipline. These are not just theoretical ideas. They're practical, actionable strategies you can apply in your daily life to transform how you approach your goals, challenges, and personal growth. Whether you're struggling with procrastination, managing your emotions, or sticking to a routine, these timeless Stoic lessons will guide you toward mastering yourself and achieving the discipline you've always wanted. Now let's break down these 10 powerful Stoic principles that will reshape your mindset and help you become more disciplined than ever before. Number 1. Master the dichotomy of control. At the heart of Stoicism lies the principle of the dichotomy of control, which teaches that life can be divided into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot. This fundamental concept was central to Marcus Aurelius's philosophy. What we control includes our thoughts, actions, and responses, while what we cannot control encompasses everything else: other people's actions, circumstances, and outcomes. When you learn to focus solely on what is within your control, you free yourself from unnecessary worry and frustration. This focus becomes the foundation of self-discipline because you stop wasting energy on things you can't change and begin to direct your efforts toward what truly matters: your own behavior. Now think about your daily life. How often do we get frustrated over things we can't change? Let's imagine you're running late for an important event and traffic is at a standstill. You can't control the traffic. You can't control the drivers around you. Yet, your natural reaction is to get upset. You might start honking, fidgeting in your seat, or feeling a surge of anxiety as the minutes tick by. This is where the dichotomy of control comes in. At that moment, instead of focusing on what's outside your control, like the traffic, focus on your response. You have a choice. You can let frustration take over, ruin your mood, and possibly even affect how you handle the meeting once you arrive. Or, you can practice self-discipline by accepting the situation. You can breathe deeply, calm yourself, and think about what productive steps you can take. Perhaps informing the relevant people about your delay, or using the time to prepare mentally for your meeting. When you begin to adopt this mindset in daily situations, you'll notice a significant reduction in stress. Whether it's a difficult coworker, a delayed flight, or a broken appliance, the Stoic approach teaches you that the only thing worth controlling is how you handle these events. Over time, this mental shift builds incredible self-discipline. You become more patient, more resilient, and more focused on what truly matters: your actions, not external events. Imagine applying this principle to your relationships. Maybe you have a friend who consistently cancels plans last minute. Instead of getting angry and letting it affect your mood or questioning your friendship, remind yourself that you can't control their behavior. What you can control is how you respond. Perhaps you let it go or decide that this isn't the type of relationship you want to invest in anymore. This shift in focus not only preserves your peace of mind, but also strengthens your self-discipline, because you stop reacting to what others do and focus on your own principles and actions. Mastering the dichotomy of control isn't easy at first. It requires constant awareness and practice. But once you internalize this principle, it becomes a powerful tool in shaping your behavior, reducing unnecessary suffering, and maintaining your focus on what you can improve: yourself. Number 2. Practice mindful reflection. Stoicism places great emphasis on the practice of mindful reflection as a way to cultivate self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius himself was known for his habit of reflecting daily on his actions and thoughts, which helped him remain grounded and focused on his Stoic virtues. This practice is not about beating yourself up over mistakes or being overly critical. Rather, it's about developing an honest awareness of where you succeeded, where you faltered, and how you can do better tomorrow. It's a process of continual self-improvement, which is essential for building discipline over time. Imagine taking a few minutes at the end of each day to ask yourself, did I act in line with my values today? Or, was there a situation where I could have responded better? This habit of reflection allows you to gain insight into your own patterns of behavior. It's easy to move through life on autopilot, reacting to situations out of habit rather than intention. But when you reflect, you begin to see where you're making choices unconsciously, and where those choices might be undermining your self-discipline. Let's say you've decided to work on waking up earlier in the morning to establish a more productive routine. For the first few days, things go well. You wake up on time, you feel energized, and your day flows smoothly. But by the end of the week, you start hitting the snooze button again. What happened? Instead of just letting it slide, mindful reflection invites you to examine the situation. Maybe you stayed up too late scrolling through social media the night before. Maybe you didn't set your alarm far enough away from your bed, making it too easy to turn off. By reflecting on these small actions, you become more aware of the things that are sabotaging your discipline and can take steps to fix them. This habit of reflection also helps in managing emotional responses. Think about a time when you lost your temper, maybe during a heated argument with a loved one. In the moment, you might have felt justified, but later, as the emotion subsides, you may realize you could have handled it differently. By reflecting on this, you can pinpoint what triggered your reaction and how you might respond better next time. Over time, this mindful awareness becomes a tool for self-discipline. You start catching yourself before you react impulsively, and instead, you choose to respond in ways that align with your principles. Reflection doesn't have to be a complicated or time-consuming practice. It can be as simple as writing a few sentences in a journal before bed, or mentally reviewing your day during your evening routine. The key is consistency. Just like with physical exercise, the more you practice reflection, the stronger your self-discipline muscle becomes. You start noticing your habits, both good and bad, and gradually, you make adjustments that keep you on the path toward your goals. Incorporating mindful reflection into your daily life creates a feedback loop that fosters growth. It allows you to celebrate small wins and learn from setbacks without judgment. And most importantly, it keeps you accountable to yourself, which is the essence of self-discipline. Number 3, embrace discomfort. One of the key tenets of Stoicism is the idea that we must learn to embrace discomfort if we want to grow and develop self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius believed that hardships, challenges, and uncomfortable situations are not to be avoided, but rather faced head-on. Why? Because it's through these experiences that we build resilience, strength, and discipline. Avoiding discomfort only keeps us stuck in our comfort zones, and nothing great ever happens there. True growth requires us to step outside of what's easy and familiar. Think about the modern world we live in. Convenience is at our fingertips. From fast food to instant entertainment, we're constantly surrounded by opportunities to choose the easy path. But Stoicism teaches us that these easy paths often lead us away from our long-term goals. If you want to build a successful career, meaningful relationships, or even physical fitness, you have to be willing to endure discomfort. Success in any area of life requires sacrifice and the ability to push through when things get tough. Let's use physical fitness as an example. You might have a goal to get in shape or lose weight. The first few days of working out may be exciting, but as soreness sets in or motivation dips, it's tempting to skip a session or take a break. This is where embracing discomfort becomes crucial. Instead of avoiding the temporary pain of exercise, Stoicism would encourage you to push through it. knowing that discomfort is a necessary part of the process. Each time you choose to embrace discomfort, you build a little more discipline, and over time it becomes easier to stick to your routine. This principle applies not only to physical challenges, but to mental and emotional discomfort as well. Think about situations where you've had to confront a difficult conversation or make an uncomfortable decision. Maybe you've avoided these situations in the past because they felt too stressful or overwhelming. But by facing them, by leaning into the discomfort, you're developing a key aspect of self-discipline, the ability to do what's necessary even when it's hard. Marcus Aurelius viewed discomfort not as something to be feared, but as a teacher. Every time you push through discomfort, you're reminding yourself that you're capable of more than you think. Whether it's waking up early, having a difficult conversation, or working out when you don't feel like it, embracing discomfort teaches you that discipline is about showing up even when it's not easy. This mindset can also transform how you view setbacks and failures. Often when we fail at something, we feel discouraged and want to give up. But Stoicism teaches us to see failure as a form of discomfort that provides valuable lessons. Instead of avoiding it, we embrace it, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Each failure becomes a stepping stone to success, as long as we don't let the discomfort of failure stop us. By embracing discomfort, we build mental toughness and self-discipline, both of which are essential for achieving our long-term goals. So the next time you're faced with something uncomfortable, whether it's a workout, a challenging task, or an emotionally tough situation, remind yourself that by embracing it, you're becoming stronger and more disciplined. Number 4. Focus on the present moment. Stoicism teaches that the present moment is all we truly have, and mastering this understanding is critical for developing self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this idea in his writings, constantly reminding himself to focus on the task at hand and not get lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past. When you concentrate on the present, you allow yourself to perform at your best without being distracted by things outside your control. In today's world, we are constantly pulled in different directions. Our phones buzz with notifications, our to-do lists grow, and our minds race with thoughts about what's next. It's easy to get overwhelmed by thinking about all the things we need to accomplish. But Stoicism offers a different approach. Focus only on what you're doing right now, in this very moment. By honing your attention on the present, you not only reduce stress but also sharpen your discipline. For instance, imagine you're working on an important project. You know you need to focus, but your mind keeps drifting to future deadlines or past mistakes you made. Maybe you're tempted to check your phone or get up for a snack. This is where the practice of focusing on the present comes into play. By intentionally bringing your attention back to the task in front of you, you build the self-discipline to ignore distractions. Each time you do this, you're training your mind to stay focused, and over time, it becomes easier to concentrate for longer periods. Consider how often we waste time worrying about things that haven't happened yet. You might spend hours stressing about a meeting next week, imagining all the ways it could go wrong. But Stoicism teaches us that this kind of worry is unproductive. The future is uncertain, and we can't control it. What we can control is how we prepare for that meeting in the present. By focusing on doing your best today, you're much more likely to succeed tomorrow. Focusing on the present also helps when dealing with procrastination. Often we put things off because they seem overwhelming. But if you break tasks down into small, manageable steps and focus on completing just one step at a time, it becomes much easier to make progress. Let's say you have a big report due. Instead of stressing about the entire project, focus on writing just the introduction. Once that's done, move on to the next part. This approach not only makes large tasks more manageable, but also strengthens your discipline by keeping you focused on what's in front of you rather than what's looming ahead. In relationships, focusing on the present moment means being fully engaged with the person you're with. We've all been guilty of checking our phones during a conversation or thinking about work when spending time with loved ones. Stoicism reminds us that these moments are fleeting and that being present is a way of honoring the people in our lives. This kind of presence requires discipline because it asks us to resist the temptation to multitask. and instead give our full attention to what's happening now. By practicing the art of being present, you not only improve your focus and productivity, but also deepen your relationships and enhance your overall sense of well-being. In the end, self-discipline is about learning to control your mind, and focusing on the present is one of the most powerful ways to do that. Number 5, practice voluntary hardship. Voluntary hardship is one of the core Stoic principles for building self-discipline. This concept is about deliberately exposing yourself to discomfort and challenges in order to strengthen your mental and emotional resilience. For Marcus Aurelius, enduring hardship wasn't something to be feared, but rather embraced as a way to cultivate inner strength and fortitude. By facing controlled difficulties on your own terms, you prepare yourself to handle the unexpected trials that life inevitably throws your way. To practice voluntary hardship, you intentionally put yourself in situations that may be physically, mentally, or emotionally challenging. These challenges don't have to be extreme, but they should push you out of your comfort zone. By doing so, you condition your mind and body to tolerate discomfort, which in turn makes you more capable of handling life's inevitable adversities. Stoicism teaches that comfort breeds complacency, and to build self-discipline, you need to actively seek out experiences that test your resolve. One way to practice voluntary hardship is through physical challenges. Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics believed that the body and mind are deeply connected, and that physical endurance strengthens mental toughness. This could involve something as simple as taking a cold shower, going for a run in harsh weather, or fasting for a day. These acts may seem small, but they build mental resilience by teaching you to overcome the initial discomfort and push through the desire to quit. Over time, these practices help you develop the discipline to endure far greater challenges in life. Consider fasting, for example. Fasting is a controlled form of discomfort that tests your ability to resist immediate gratification. In a world where food is readily available, choosing to go without it for a set period of time requires self-control and mental strength. It's not just about depriving yourself. It's about proving to yourself that you can endure discomfort for a greater purpose. Each time you successfully fast, you reinforce your belief in your own ability to handle hardship, which carries over into other areas of your life. Beyond physical hardship, voluntary discomfort can also involve mental and emotional challenges. This might mean stepping out of your comfort zone in social situations, such as initiating difficult conversations or giving up a habit that brings temporary pleasure, but is ultimately unproductive. For instance, you could challenge yourself to limit your screen time or take a break from social media for a week. These small sacrifices build discipline by forcing you to confront discomfort and resist the pull of instant gratification. Now, imagine you're working on a big project, something that requires intense focus and long hours. You might experience the temptation to procrastinate, to take breaks when you don't need them, or to give in to distractions like checking your phone or watching TV. Voluntary hardship in this context could mean committing to a set schedule, focusing entirely on your work for a specific period, and resisting the urge to seek comfort through distractions. This not only builds discipline but also trains your mind to function optimally under pressure. The key to voluntary hardship is to view discomfort as a tool for growth, rather than as something to avoid. By actively seeking out these experiences, you're preparing yourself for real-life challenges that are outside of your control. If you've already trained yourself to withstand discomfort on your own terms, you're far more likely to remain calm and focused when life throws unexpected difficulties your way. For example, in relationships, practicing voluntary hardship could involve embracing uncomfortable emotions like vulnerability or rejection, rather than shying away from them. Engaging in honest conversations, even when they feel difficult, builds emotional resilience. Over time, you become better at handling discomfort, both within yourself and in your interactions with others. This level of emotional discipline allows you to navigate relationships with clarity and purpose, rather than being ruled by fear or avoidance. Ultimately, voluntary hardship is about building a mindset that welcomes challenges rather than avoiding them. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on how temporary discomfort is, reminding himself that pain and hardship are fleeting, but the lessons learned from them are enduring. This perspective helps you reframe discomfort as an opportunity for growth, rather than something to dread. By practicing voluntary hardship regularly, you strengthen your ability to stay disciplined even when things get tough. You learn to embrace discomfort as part of the journey towards self-mastery, rather than something to be feared. This principle teaches you that discipline is not just about resisting temptation, but about actively seeking out challenges that make you stronger. As you integrate voluntary hardship into your life, you'll find that what once felt difficult becomes more manageable, and your ability to remain disciplined in the face of adversity grows exponentially. Number 6. Master the art of self-reflection. Self-reflection is at the heart of self-discipline in Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of reflecting on one's actions, thoughts, and feelings. Without regular self-reflection, it's easy to stray off course or become unaware of habits and behaviors that hinder personal growth. Self-reflection helps you remain aligned with your goals and values, making it easier to correct mistakes and improve yourself over time. The practice of self-reflection doesn't require long hours of meditation or deep soul-searching every day. It can be as simple as asking yourself, did I act according to my values today? Or, where could I have done better? At the end of each day, taking a few minutes to review your actions and intentions can help you develop a greater sense of self-awareness. This awareness is essential for building discipline because it allows you to catch yourself when you're falling into patterns of distraction, procrastination, or emotional reactivity. Let's put this into a relatable example. Imagine you're trying to build better time management habits, but you notice that you're constantly running late for meetings. Without self-reflection, you might brush it off as just being busy. But if you take a moment to reflect, you might realize that your lateness is a result of poor planning or overcommitting. By identifying the root cause through self-reflection, you can start to make changes. Maybe you set earlier alarms, block off time for preparation, or say no to unnecessary commitments. Each small adjustment born from self-reflection strengthens your discipline over time. This principle applies to emotional discipline as well. Suppose you lost your temper during a conversation with a coworker. In the heat of the moment, it's hard to recognize why you reacted the way you did. But later, through self-reflection, you can dissect the situation. Was it really about the coworker, or was something else bothering you? Perhaps you realize that stress from another part of your life made you more irritable than usual. With this knowledge, you can make a plan to manage your stress better in the future, avoiding similar outbursts. Reflecting on these moments helps you learn from your experiences, making it less likely that you'll repeat mistakes. One of the most famous quotes from Marcus Aurelius is, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is a call to action through self-reflection. Instead of debating ideals or blaming others for our shortcomings, we should look within, reflect on our behavior, and make conscious decisions to improve. Self-reflection helps us identify our weaknesses and gives us the clarity to work on them, reinforcing our self-discipline. Regular reflection also fosters a sense of humility. When we look honestly at our actions, we recognize that we're not perfect and that there's always room for growth. This humility helps us stay disciplined because it keeps us grounded. Instead of becoming complacent, we remain open to change and improvement. Self-discipline thrives in an environment where personal growth is valued and nurtured, and self-reflection is the tool that helps us stay on that path. Number 7. Practice voluntary hardship. One of the more unique aspects of Stoic philosophy is the practice of voluntary hardship, intentionally exposing yourself to discomfort in order to strengthen your discipline and resilience. Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics believed that by regularly stepping outside of our comfort zones, we build the mental toughness needed to handle life's inevitable challenges. This principle might seem counterintuitive in a world that values comfort and convenience, but it's one of the most powerful ways to develop self-discipline. The idea behind voluntary hardship is that when we deliberately choose discomfort, we become less vulnerable to the negative effects of unexpected difficulties. By putting ourselves in challenging situations voluntarily, We train our minds and bodies to handle stress, discomfort, and adversity with grace. This makes us stronger, more disciplined, and more adaptable when life throws us curveballs. A practical example of voluntary hardship is intermittent fasting or cold showers. These practices aren't done for the sake of suffering, but to train your mind to endure discomfort without complaint. By going without food for a set period or subjecting yourself to a cold shower, you teach your brain that you are in control, not your cravings, not your immediate desires, not your discomfort. This sense of control is at the core of self-discipline. Consider how often we give in to small comforts throughout the day, whether it's scrolling through social media when we're bored, grabbing a snack when we're not really hungry, or avoiding a tough task because it feels overwhelming. We constantly choose the path of least resistance. Voluntary hardship flips this script. It encourages us to face discomfort head-on and choose the harder path, knowing that it will make us stronger and more resilient in the long run. You might wonder how this applies to more abstract forms of discomfort, like emotional or mental challenges. Let's say you're someone who avoids confrontation because it makes you uncomfortable. By practicing voluntary hardship, you might intentionally engage in small, manageable confrontations, maybe speaking up during a meeting or addressing a minor issue with a friend. These small acts of discomfort train you to handle bigger confrontations when they arise. Over time, you develop the discipline to speak up when necessary, even when it feels difficult. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the importance of preparing for hardship, even in times of peace. He knew that life would not always be easy, and by practicing discomfort regularly, he would be better equipped to handle adversity when it came. Voluntary hardship is not about seeking suffering for its own sake. It's about building the mental and emotional fortitude necessary to navigate life's inevitable challenges with strength and composure. In the modern world, we can practice voluntary hardship in many ways. Whether it's waking up earlier than usual, taking on a difficult project, or pushing yourself during a workout, each act of voluntary discomfort builds your self-discipline. Over time, you become more comfortable with discomfort, and this resilience translates to all areas of your life. You're less likely to give up when things get tough because you've trained yourself to endure hardship with grace and perseverance. Number 8. Practice temperance. Temperance, or moderation, is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, like many other Stoics, believed that balance and self-control are essential for living a disciplined life. Temperance is about knowing your limits and avoiding excess, whether that excess comes in the form of pleasure, indulgence, work, or even rest. By practicing temperance, you create harmony in your life and prevent the extremes that can lead to burnout, poor health, or emotional instability. In today's world where excess is often glorified, practicing temperance can be a challenge. We live in a culture that encourages us to want more, consume more, and do more. Whether it's food, entertainment, work, or even social interactions, there's always a temptation to go overboard. But Stoicism teaches that true self-discipline comes from knowing when enough is enough. Consider how easy it is to binge-watch a show, stay up late scrolling on your phone, or overindulge in food or drink. In the moment, these behaviors might feel harmless, but they often lead to negative consequences: lack of sleep, poor health, or a sense of guilt. Temperance is about recognizing when you've had enough and having the self-discipline to stop before you reach excess. It's about finding balance in your actions and decisions. Let's apply this to work. Many of us are guilty of working long hours, pushing ourselves to the point of exhaustion because we believe it's the only way to succeed. But without temperance, this behavior leads to burnout. Stoicism teaches that moderation is key, even in work. By setting boundaries, taking breaks, and balancing your workload, you not only protect your health but also improve your productivity. Practicing temperance at work means knowing when to push yourself and when to step back, preserving your energy for the long haul. Temperance also applies to our emotional lives. We've all experienced moments where we've let our emotions get the best of us, whether it's anger, jealousy, or even excitement. While emotions are a natural part of being human, Stoicism teaches us that unchecked emotions can lead to poor decisions. Practicing temperance means maintaining emotional balance and not letting your feelings control your actions. For example, instead of reacting in anger during an argument, temperance allows you to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully. This kind of emotional moderation is crucial for building self-discipline. By practicing temperance, you create a life of balance and harmony. You avoid the extremes that can derail your progress and instead cultivate a steady, disciplined approach to everything you do. Whether it's in work, relationships, or personal habits, temperance helps you stay grounded and focused on your long-term goals. Number 9. Embrace delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is the ability to resist the temptation of an immediate reward in favor of a greater reward later. For the Stoics, this was a crucial part of building self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius understood that the most valuable things in life, whether personal growth, meaningful relationships, or long-term goals, take time to achieve. Stoicism teaches us that by delaying gratification, we strengthen our ability to endure discomfort and stay focused on what truly matters. In today's world, we are surrounded by instant gratification. Whether it's fast food, social media, or online shopping, we can satisfy almost any desire with the click of a button. But this constant availability of immediate rewards makes it harder to develop discipline. When we give in to instant gratification, we prioritize short-term pleasure over long-term fulfillment, often at the expense of our goals. Embracing delayed gratification is about retraining our minds to prioritize what will benefit us in the long run, even if it means sacrificing short-term comfort. Imagine you're saving up for a major purchase like a new home. It's easy to get tempted by smaller, unnecessary expenses along the way, a new gadget, dining out, or impulsive online shopping. Every time you indulge in these smaller rewards, you're chipping away at your ability to reach your bigger goal. Practicing delayed gratification means resisting those temptations and reminding yourself of the larger reward that awaits you. It's about understanding that temporary pleasures, while satisfying in the moment, often pale in comparison to the satisfaction of achieving a long-term goal. This principle also applies to personal development. Suppose you've set a goal to improve your fitness. In the short term, it's much easier to skip a workout and relax on the couch, giving in to the temptation of comfort. But if you can delay the gratification of relaxation and push yourself to exercise, you're investing in your future health and well-being. Over time, you'll see the benefits of your discipline, greater strength, better health, and a sense of accomplishment. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the fleeting nature of pleasure. He understood that while pleasure might feel good in the moment, it often leaves us feeling empty or unsatisfied afterward. Stoicism encourages us to think beyond the present moment and consider the long-term consequences of our actions. When we practice delayed gratification, we're actively choosing the path that leads to lasting fulfillment rather than short-lived pleasure. A relatable example of delayed gratification in today's world is social media. It's easy to spend hours scrolling through your feed, liking posts, and watching videos. The instant gratification of likes, comments, and entertainment is hard to resist. But over time, this habit can eat into your productivity, distract you from your goals, and leave you feeling unfulfilled. By practicing delayed gratification, you can set boundaries for your social media use, perhaps limiting it to specific times of day or using it as a reward after completing a task. In doing so, you regain control over your time and focus, allowing you to work toward more meaningful goals. Delayed gratification also helps us build emotional resilience. When we're used to getting what we want immediately, we become less patient and more prone to frustration when things don't go our way. But when we practice waiting, whether it's for a promotion, personal success, or even a relationship, we develop the patience and mental toughness needed to handle life's uncertainties. We learn that good things take time, and that the journey toward our goals is often more rewarding than the destination itself. In essence, embracing delayed gratification is about cultivating a mindset of patience and long-term thinking. It's about recognizing that the most meaningful rewards in life often come from sustained effort and discipline, not from instant indulgence. By training ourselves to resist short-term temptations, we build the resilience and self-discipline needed to achieve lasting success and fulfillment. Number 10. Remain consistent in your efforts. Consistency is perhaps the most important aspect of self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius believed that true discipline isn't about short bursts of effort, but about showing up every day and committing to your values and goals no matter how difficult the path may be. It's not enough to practice discipline sporadically. Consistency is what transforms discipline into a lasting habit. Think of consistency like a muscle. Just as you need to regularly exercise to build physical strength, you need to consistently practice discipline to strengthen your mental and emotional resilience. Every time you stick to your plan, whether it's in your work, health, or personal life, you're reinforcing the habit of discipline. Over time, this becomes second nature. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes to stay disciplined, even when motivation wanes or obstacles arise. A relatable example of the power of consistency can be seen in something as simple as learning a new skill. Let's say you want to learn a musical instrument, like the guitar. It's easy to feel excited and motivated in the beginning, practicing every day for a week. But as time goes on and the initial excitement fades, it becomes harder to stay committed. You might skip a day of practice, then another, and before you know it, weeks have passed without touching your guitar. This is where consistency comes in. By setting a routine, perhaps 30 minutes of practice every day no matter what, you build discipline. Even on days when you don't feel like practicing, showing up and putting in the effort keeps you on track. Over time, this consistency pays off, and you see real progress in your skills. Consistency also applies to larger life goals, like building a career or improving your health. We've all had moments where we set ambitious goals, maybe starting a business, losing weight, or saving money, but then lose momentum after a few weeks or months. Without consistency, even the best intentions can fizzle out. But when you commit to consistent effort, even small steps every day, you start to see results. It's not about achieving perfection, but about showing up and doing the work, even when it's hard. One of the key teachings of Marcus Aurelius was the importance of persistence in the face of adversity. Life is full of challenges, distractions, and setbacks that can derail our efforts. But consistency means staying the course, no matter how difficult things get. It's easy to be disciplined when everything is going well, but true discipline shines through when you remain committed, even when the odds are stacked against you. For example, consider someone training for a marathon. There will be days when they feel tired, unmotivated, or even discouraged by a lack of progress. But if they skip training sessions every time they don't feel like it, they won't be prepared for the race. By consistently showing up, pushing through the discomfort, and sticking to their training plan, they build the endurance and discipline needed to cross the finish line. The same applies to any long-term goal, whether it's improving your career, relationships, or personal well-being. Consistency also builds trust in yourself. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, you develop a sense of self-confidence. You begin to trust that you can rely on yourself to get things done, even when it's hard. This self-trust is essential for maintaining discipline because it reinforces the belief that you have the power to shape your life through your actions. In conclusion, consistency is the glue that holds self-discipline together. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic transformations, but about the small, everyday actions that add up over time. By staying consistent in your efforts, you build the mental toughness and resilience needed to achieve your goals, no matter how challenging the journey may be. With all these principles in mind, you now have a comprehensive guide to building self-discipline using Stoic wisdom. Each principle, from mastering your emotions to practicing voluntary hardship, forms a piece of the larger puzzle of a disciplined, resilient life. Marcus Aurelius believed that discipline is not a destination, but a journey, one that requires daily effort, reflection, and a commitment to self-improvement. By adopting these principles, you can take control of your life and cultivate the inner strength needed to navigate the ups and downs of the human experience.